30 shots. 30. And Turkey scored 0. That's not bad luck. That's a crisis. Turkey came into this World Cup as the dark horses everyone was backing. Real Madrid's Arda Guler, Juventus's Kenan Yildiz, Inter Milan captain Hakan Calhanoglu, and then got shut out completely by Australia. Turkey recorded 30 shots in their defeat to Australia, with 7 on target. 30 shots and nothing to show for it. And Paraguay? They got humiliated. They fell 4-1 to the US MNT in the opening match. 4 goals in 1 game against a team playing on home soil. So now these 2 broken, desperate, bleeding squads walk into Levi's stadium at Santa Clara, knowing that one of them is about to have their World Cup dream effectively ended tonight. But here's what nobody is talking about. One of these teams is lying in wait, and you're not going to guess which one. Welcome back. If you're new here, this channel is where we don't do surface-level soccer takes. We go deep, we go hard, and we call it exactly as we see it. Now, let's talk about what is actually happening in Group D right now, because the mainstream narrative is getting this completely wrong. Turkey sit 3rd in Group D with 0 points after a 2-0 defeat to Australia, while Paraguay are 4th following a 4-1 loss to the United States. The United States and Australia have already pulled clear at the top, both on 3 points. So the math is brutally simple. A defeat on Matchday 2 would leave either nation needing a near-miracle result on the final day to advance. This is essentially a knockout game, in the group stage, on day 2. Now, here's the context that matters. Turkey did not come into this tournament as a lightweight. They arrived at these finals off the back of 4 wins in their last 5, keeping back-to-back clean sheets against Romania and Kosovo. Their qualifying campaign was genuinely impressive. Turkey's qualifying record of 6 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss across 8 matches included a notable 2-2 draw away to Spain and a 6-1 dismantling of Bulgaria. This is not a team that should be panicking after 1 game. But are they? Paraguay, meanwhile, are a side that nobody fully respects, and that's always dangerous. They are not afraid to take the direct route. Goalkeeper Orlando Gil made more passes into the final third against the US than anyone else. They are physical, they are organized, and they are angry. So today, I'm going to cover 3 things. First, why Turkey's attack is broken in a very specific, fixable way, and what has to change tonight. Second, why Paraguay are far more dangerous than a 4-1 scoreline suggests. And third, the tactical battle that will decide this match, plus my hot take prediction that I guarantee will start an argument in the comments. Let's get into it. Point 1. Turkey's attack isn't broken. Their finishing mentality is. Let me be very clear about something. When people say Turkey were bad against Australia, they are describing the wrong problem. Turkey were not bad. Turkey were wasteful. And that is a completely different diagnosis. Turkey recorded 30 shots in their defeat to Australia, with 7 on target. 30 shots. Think about that for a second. Most teams at a World Cup don't generate 30 shots across 2 full games. Turkey did it in 1. And still lost 2-0. That scoreline is not a reflection of what happened on that pitch. It's a reflection of what didn't happen in front of goal. And here's the thing most people miss. This wasn't a tactical failure. This was a psychological one. Arda Guler had 8 attempts in the opener against Australia, 3 of which were on target, and ended the game with an individual XG figure of 0.26. A 21-year-old Real Madrid superstar, the kind of player who makes Bernabeu crowds hold their breath, and he couldn't convert a single chance. The talent was never the question against Australia. The application and finishing were. Now, the mainstream opinion says Turkey are in a crisis of form. I'm pushing back on that completely. One game of wastefulness in front of goal is not a form crisis. It's a wake-up call. And historically, Turkey respond to wake-up calls. Turkey have not suffered consecutive losses since March 2024. They bounce back. That's in their DNA. What needs to change tonight is simple. Guler cannot be taking 8 shots and producing 0.26 xG. The movement inside the box has to be sharper. Ferdi Kadıoğlu created 5 chances against Australia from left back alone. 5 chances from a fullback. The delivery is there. The runners need to arrive with more conviction, more aggression, more hunger. Kenan Yildiz of Juventus provides similar creative qualities to Guler, and Coach Montella has the luxury of rotating or pairing these young talents depending on the opponent. If Yildiz gets meaningful minutes tonight, and I mean real minutes, not a 65th minute cameo, Turkey have the personnel to absolutely tear Paraguay apart. The question is not, can Turkey score? The question is, do they believe they can score? Tonight, that mental reset is everything. Right, this is where I'm going to say something that will upset people. That 4-1 scoreline against the USA is the most misleading result in Group D. Full stop. Here's why. The USA were electric on that day, playing at home in Los Angeles in front of a crowd that was basically a wall of noise. Paraguay found themselves 3-0 behind at halftime in Los Angeles, 3 goals down at halftime, against the host nation, on a day when the Americans were as close to peak performance as they've been in years. But what happened after that? Paraguay didn't fold. They didn't collapse. Though Alfaro's side improved after the break, pulling a goal back when Julio Enciso fed Palmeiras winger Mauricio to score. That matters. That tells you about the character in this squad. And look at their attacking threats properly. Miguel Almiron is a key creative figure in midfield, while Julio Enciso leads the attacking line with 4 recent international goals to his name. 4 international goals in recent form. Enciso is 22 years old. He plays with absolute fearlessness, and he sent a defiant message after the defeat, saying, "I think that we Paraguayans are characterized by getting up, continuing to get up, never giving up." That's not a player in his shell. That's a player ready to explode. And defensively, don't sleep on this. Before their US setback, Paraguay had a reputation for keeping things tight and had just posted 3 wins from 4. 9 of Paraguay's last 10 World Cup matches have featured under 2.5 goals, 9 out of 10. That is a team that knows how to make a game ugly, slow, and suffocating. Against a Turkey side that is already low on confidence, that formula is dangerous. Paraguay will not open up and trade goals. They will sit, absorb, frustrate, and then let Enciso and Almiron hurt you on the counter. Turkey need to be ready for that, because right now, I'm not sure they are. Point 3. The tactical battle that actually decides this game. Everything comes down to one specific duel, one matchup, one chess move that will determine which of these teams is still alive in this World Cup by full time. It's the battle between Turkey's left flank and Paraguay's right side counterattack. Here's what I mean. Ferdi Kadıoğlu made the most final third passes, 59, and created 5 chances against Australia. Across Euro 2024 and this World Cup so far, he's created 17 chances, 7 more than any other Turkish player. 17 chances created, from a left back. Kadıoğlu is not just Turkey's best attacking outlet right now, he is their most consistent creative force in the entire squad, more than Guler, more than Calhanoglu, more than anyone. And here's the tactical problem. When Kadıoğlu pushes forward, which he will because that's his entire game, He leaves space in behind on Turkey's left channel. And Paraguay's most dangerous counterattacking threat runs directly into that space. Paraguay's clearest path to a goal is Enciso exploiting the spaces behind a Turkey defense that will push forward chasing a much-needed win. Think about that combination. Turkey desperately need to win, so they push. Calhanoglu bombs forward. Space opens up behind him. Enciso accelerates into it. And suddenly, a team that everyone wrote off is breaking at pace with numbers. This is exactly how Paraguay beat better teams during CONMEBOL qualifying. Paraguay will look to frustrate and hit on the counter, as they have done in CONMEBOL qualifying. They've done this before, against Uruguay, against Colombia, against teams with far more individual quality than Turkey. They bait you into attacking. Then they punish you. Now, Vincenzo Montella is expected to stick with his talented 4-2-3-1, with Calhanoglu and Orkun Kökçü anchoring midfield. The double pivot of Calhanoglu and Kökçü is supposed to cover those defensive gaps, and in theory, it works. But Calhanoglu is a deep-lying playmaker, not a defensive cover specialist. If Paraguay can draw him out of position, which Almiron's pressing will absolutely try to do, that left channel becomes a motorway. The team that controls that specific corridor wins this match. I am convinced of it. And here is what Montella must do differently. He has to instruct Calhanoglu to be more selective with his overlapping runs. Not stop them completely. That would kill Turkey's best attacking weapon. But time them better. Pick the moments. Don't just bomb forward every single time the ball comes to the left side. Because against Paraguay's counterpress, one mistimed run could be the difference between winning this game and flying home. The hot take. All right, you've been patient. Here it is. Turkey will win this game, but they will not dominate it the way the talent gap suggests they should. And the reason for that is this. Hakan Calhanoglu is the most overrated player at this World Cup right now. I said it. Everyone talks about Calhanoglu like he is the engine that makes Turkey go. And yes, positionally, he is brilliant. But under pressure, in high-stakes moments at major tournaments, Turkey have now lost 9 of their last 13 matches at major competitions. And Calhanoglu has been the captain, the conductor, the supposed leader through almost all of them. Often fancied, rarely delivering when it truly counts. Tonight, the player who will actually unlock Paraguay is not Calhanoglu. It's not even Guler. It's Ferdi Calhanoglu, the left back, the overlooked one, the player that pundits mention as a footnote while drooling over the attacking stars. Calhanoglu will be the difference maker. He's already created 17 chances across Euro 2024 and this World Cup, 7 more than any other Turkish player. The numbers are screaming his name. Nobody is listening. My prediction? Turkey 2-1 Paraguay. Calhanoglu with an assist. Enciso with a goal that makes everyone nervous for about 20 terrifying minutes, and a Turkey team that survives. But only just. Stay with me, because the conclusion is coming, and I've got one final question that I want every single person watching this to answer in the comments. All right, let's bring it home. 3 things, 3 points, 3 reasons this match is more complex than anyone is giving it credit for. First, Turkey's attack is not broken. It's mentally blocked. 30 shots against Australia with 0 goals isn't a talent problem. It's a finishing mentality problem. And that is fixable. Tonight is the night it gets fixed. Or Turkey go home. Second, Paraguay are absolutely not a 4-1 team. That scoreline is a lie. A dangerous, misleading lie that will cause Turkey to underestimate a squad built on counter-attacking precision, defensive discipline, and a striker in Julio Enciso who is playing with absolutely nothing to lose. Third, this game is decided in one specific corridor. Turkey's left flank versus Paraguay's counter. Calhanoglu versus the space he leaves behind him. Whoever controls that battle controls the match. And right now, neither coaching staff is talking about it publicly. But it's the real story of this game. And my final verdict? I'm going even bolder than before. Turkey win 2-1. But this is not a comfortable Turkey performance. This is a scrappy, nervous, pulse-racing 90 minutes where Paraguay make them suffer for every single minute. Enciso scores, Levi's stadium holds its breath, and then, only then, does Turkey's individual quality finally show up in the moments that matter. Calhanoglu gets his assist, Guler gets his goal, and Calhanoglu gets the credit he doesn't fully deserve, while the real hero gets a 10-second highlight clip and a pat on the back. That's soccer. That's always been soccer. But here's what I genuinely cannot call. The one thing that keeps me up about this prediction. What makes this match genuinely interesting is that both teams need to attack. A draw is close to useless for either side. When two desperate teams both commit to attacking soccer simultaneously, anything can happen. Literally anything. The tactics go out the window. The game plan dissolves in the heat of the moment. And suddenly you're watching pure, raw, survive-or-die soccer at a World Cup. That is the best kind of soccer in the world. And this match is going to deliver it. So here is my question for the comments, and I want a real answer, not a lazy one. Should Vincenzo Montella start Kenan Yildiz from the first minute tonight, or is the risk of him breaking down with that calf injury too great to gamble Turkey's World Cup on? Start him or bench him. Pick a side. Drop it below right now. And listen, if you've made it this far into this video, you already know this channel is different. We don't do hot air. We don't do lazy predictions. We do the work. If that's the soccer content you've been looking for, hit subscribe. You belong here. Turkey, Paraguay, Levi's Stadium. Let's see who wants it more.